a believer of Christ, so that weighed a little bit heavy on my decision, and that's why I applied for the scholarship, because I still wanted to be, a part of that. I grew up with that, and it's a part of who I am. Just adding that all together, it's a great opportunity to really develop yourself as a person, as a human being, as a man, as a woman. Whoever receives this scholarship, they really have a chance to flourish and find out who they are as a person. And I think that building block there really, propels you down, the road of life, into further and better things. So I'm glad that I had, this foundation here at DeLone to kind of propel me forward in life, and make me who I am today. So I thank you guys.
I'm hoping this recruitment program attracts young, dedicated guys and girls like I was. Guys in their 60s can't continue to do this. We can drive, we can do what we need to do, but there's going to come a point that we need to be replaced. And we have to have something that draws the younger people to come join us.
We developed a live-in program where if someone wants to live at our firehouse for free, we give them the education. In return, they provide services to the community.
Living here, I get free room and board. We have a kitchen here that we make our own food. We have a washer and dryer here so we can wash our own clothes. It's all free for you by just giving your service to the community.
I would like to see this live-in program grow because I was a live-in here. I believe that the live-ins are the backbone of this fire department.
They stay at the firehouse, they're expected to run fire calls, they have chores, house duties, but they also have their own job or schooling that they go to on a daily basis.
You can kind of move out and get on your own. It's like a good way to mature yourself, and there's a lot to gain from it.
But once you get that bug, you're going to love what you do. United Hook and Ladder, lead the way. Come join our team today.
National Travel and Tourism Week is May 4th through 10th, and Destination Gettysburg is planning a celebration for local residents. National Travel and Tourism Week is an annual tradition that highlights the travel industry's essential role in driving economic growth, creating jobs, and enhancing quality of life across the U.S. This year, Destination Gettysburg brought together more than 20 local businesses and organizations that will give Adams County residents a 50% discount between May 4th and 10th. Show your ID at the door and you'll receive discounted access to participating museums, attractions, tours, and more. For extra fun, grab a bingo card and mark off each place you visit. Once you get 5 in a row, you can enter to win a grand prize. Find all the details at destinationgettysburg.com/bingo.
I see that I can equip each student with what they need.
God has brought them here, and He gives us the tools every single time to be able to work with them individually.
We have the opportunity to not only invest academically, but also to impart the Word of God for right living.
We have businesses that have partnered with us. We have churches that have partnered with us. There is a spot for you. Reach out to us at freedomchristianschools.com.
Let's go. Yeah, Mark. again, sports fans. It is the month of May. Welcome to the program. Week number 882, this May 6th. Hopefully you had a happy May Day, Law Day, where we celebrate the rule of law. What else is on May 1st? I don't know.
Well, throughout the last couple of days, I mean, we had May 1st, we had Cinco de Mayo yesterday, so...
It's quite a festival. Good thinking.
And then the
Corey
other...
Smith is here. I'm Jeff Cook. We are Sports Chat. Give us a call, 717-334-3000. Go ahead.
The other one that, people, talk about is Sunday. That was the 4th, so a lot of Star Wars people out there, not me.
May the 4th be with you.
So, you have Star Wars Day, and then the next day you have Cinco de Mayo.
So is it the 4th of every month is Star Wars?
Just May,
Oh,
May the
okay.
4th.
May the 4th be, I get it. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Okay.
But
All
today's
right.
May 6th, so we got,
Okay. What other big days in May? It doesn't have any Ides. Actually, there is a middle day in May, May 16th, because it's a 31-day month. Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's still called Memorial Day, I think, but we'll find out. And then we have June. And tell me about June. Is it June 4th? We're going to have a special edition?
June 3rd.
June 3rd, which is what day of the week?
That'll be a Tuesday.
Tuesday. And it's a special edition of Sports Chat?
I think so, yeah.
Commemoration of the origin of community media, then known as Adams Community Television, or I think it was Adams County Television, and then it became Adams Community
Or how,
Television.
Carl would say ACTV.
Yeah, and he has his own ACTV Hall of Fame, Pierre Fontaine, John Tannen. So guys, we're talking about maybe having Paul Plank on. He worked camera for many years. Tom Sixes, Buddha the Wise One. He did Sports Chat with me for many, I don't know what the chronology was, but the move to New Oxford, a deterrent. He had to drive, it's a 10-minute drive. But I'm glad I've kept with it. So I got to meet you, work with you, and now we have this whole trivia thing going. But anyway, let's get down to, we always have some housekeeping matters we have to take care of. E.T., you want to start with that? And just
Yeah, we
see
can
where
just
we
get that
are?
number and then segue into the shining star and the hot seat there. But
Okay.
the ET is...
Let's see, it was 8. No, that was the week number.
yeah.
15 last week.
Well, we increased it by 5, so...
Things are heating up.
The Padres had 2 ejections. I think it was on Monday there with the Yankees, so that brought it up to 20, with the 2 ejections.
Went from 11 to 15 to 20. That's like a 20% increase.
It's a little baby steps there. So,
we're a long way from heating up, but
I think once the weather starts heating up, I think we'll get, the tensions will get shorter and shorter there. And then when the season's almost wrapping up there in the dog days of the summer, I think we'll get more ejections there. So I think, 20, it's kind of low that I thought, but, I still think we're going to get in the 200s. But, that number would definitely go up when we have,
I wonder what the Vegas line is on my 100. Do I have a shot of it?
I think you're
Glory?
I think you're in the catbird seat right now. I'm in. I need a little bit more.
You need things to really heat up.
I need
well,
like a brawl or something like that. There,
well,
brouhaha.
Robert 256.
He needs a couple.
World War
brouhahas.
III.
Yeah. Whew.
Man.
He need a
Okay.
couple fights and this and that there, but yeah.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. I'll certainly be here. I don't know any reason I wouldn't. And we'll celebrate the 40th anniversary of community media. Is that right? Or 38, or what are we saying?
I think 38.
30, okay. All right. Well, you want me to start with the hot seat?
Let's go.
And okay. So
I think we have different ones. I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of NBA centric right now because big upset, kind of upsets at least 3 of the games. The Thunder and their coach, his strategy, I read a story about it. I didn't stay up to watch it, but they always foul. Instead of letting a guy shoot a 3-pointer, they foul and make him go to the line, I guess. And Well, it didn't work out because Aaron Gordon, who's my shining star, he hit a 3 at the buzzer and they ended up beating the Thunder.
Yes.
So Denver, I mean, you got the Joker, you always have a chance. And then what the Celtics blew a 20-point lead. I thought the Knicks were dead in the water. And I'll tell you, you know, he got, Jalen Brunson got the Mr. Clutch Award. And when you see him do stuff like that, you see why. But the Celtics, ooh, that's got to hurt. Now, Knicks have home court advantage. We'll see what happens in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, not saying this is a must-win there for Boston there, but
not by
you don't want to go 0-2 and then, you know,
At
go on
home,
the
you don't
road
want to
there.
go 0-2.
But speaking
And
of
the Cavs beat by the Pacers. I mean, they just faded away at the end of the game. So that's a mild upset. But go ahead.
Yeah, to just kind of touch with your point there with the Celtics, they missed 45 three-point attempts. You know, you kind of...
How many do they make?
15, but I mean, just chucking the 3 there. You know, you
That's
live on
25%, but that's
a lot.
live by the 3, die by the 3.
That's what happened. So my hot seat, I'm going to stick with the NBA. I'm going to go with the Clippers. The Clippers got bounced again. You know, in the
How
first
about
round.
Harden, man? Does he disappear when it's crunch time or what? I mean, it's the Sixers saw it, and now the Clippers are seeing it too. He just evaporates.
Yeah, so this is the 3rd year in a row that the Clippers were bounced in the
Do they have a
first round.
3-2 lead
They
in the
were,
series?
looking at that series, the Denver won game 1, the Clippers won game 2 and game 3. Denver won 4 and
2-2.
5.
3-2.
And then game 6 went to the Clips.
Okay.
Game 7. I mean, both of the games were, all the games were fairly somewhat close there.
Yeah.
Game 1, that was the overtime game. Game 3, that was Clippers winning by a large margin. And then game 7, they just couldn't shoot the basket. You know, they just, their percentage and everything were down. They lost by 19. So just, you know, putting the Clippers in the hot seat of where are they going to go? You know, this is, you know, with, you know, Leonard and, you know,
James Harden.
You know, James Harden, do they need to retool, rebuild? You know, you can say the same with the Lakers, you know, as well. So
40-year-old LeBron, what's he gonna do?
you know, is, you know, the biggest thing with the Lakers is with, you know, Luka, you know, was he out of shape? You know, does he need to get back into playing shape, this, that? So kind of putting both the Lakers and the Clippers in that hot seat of what's the next position?
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, probably the guy for Houston, the GM, is probably saying, hey, thank you, Luka, because your flaws were exposed.
Or Dallas.
Oh, for Dallas. I'm sorry. Yeah, not Houston. Houston, they lost to Golden State, but to Dallas, who traded Doncic, and he probably was appreciative that, okay, the Lakers, you know, he wasn't the difference for the Lakers. He wasn't going to be the difference for us because as much as he scores, rebounds, and passes, he doesn't play defense. But don't they say the same thing about the Joker, or is he a better defender than
I would say probably a
Doncic?
better defender, you know, by
Slightly.
looking at the
I mean,
stats
that's not
there,
his
yeah.
forte,
Yeah.
but, I mean, he can block shots if somebody tries to go right over him. But anyway, Joker probably will win his 4th MVP in the last 5 years, or third in the 4
I think it'll
years.
probably be SGA.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe.
You know, that's what, you
It's a
know.
regular season award. He led the league in scoring, and and certainly that was their all-time greatest season for that franchise.
That's where I would lean is,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. No,
SGA
I
there.
think you're right. He's probably the favorite, but I mean, Joker, the numbers are staggering as a triple, double scorer. I mean, not since the days of Oscar Robinson and Robertson. Yeah.
So going from the hot seat, you know, what's your shining star for
Well, I had Aaron Gordon
Gordon
and
with
Jalen
yeah.
Brunson, both of whom were their teams wouldn't have won without him down the stretch. I mean, I don't know who else you go to. I mean, I had a night off from baseball. The Phillies were idle yesterday, so kind of lose sight of it. The Cubs are. I see the Cubs are doing pretty well right now. They're
Yep.
atop the Central.
Yeah, right now they are, I want to say, I can get that in just a
20 and 15 or something like that. They were.
Yeah, right now the Cubs are in first by 4 games.
Wow.
They're 22 and 14 with
Wow.
the others are right at 500 or
8 over.
under
Okay.
500.
I mean,
so-
Council, really good manager. The Brewers didn't want to lose him, so that really has got to hurt that he goes to
the rival.
an arch rival. Just I don't know how many miles
Right up-
away they
yeah.
are, but yeah, right up Lake Michigan. And so, anyway, any other shining stars
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you?
So my shining star, I'm going to go with Scotty Scheffler. You know, he won the C.J. Byron Nelson in Texas with the lowest 72-hole round. He shot at 31 under, 253 strokes. 2 other golfers in history went 31 under, but he had like an 8-shot lead going into Sunday. You know, he just cruised through the competition. So I'm going to go with Scotty as my the shining star there.
64s across the board, or that's probably how the math comes out, something like that. But
I think he had like a 59 on Friday
Really?
or Saturday, or a 60, I think it was there. But yeah, he was getting those eagles and
How'd
birdies.
that, wasn't there a brouhaha with him and a parking attendant or something? Was that
Yeah.
at the Masters?
That was at
That's ancient
the,
history now.
Yeah, that was last year at this time frame. That was at the PGA Championship in.
So they worked. They worked
yeah,
something
yeah,
out.
that
I
was
mean,
all-
it seemed
all
like that was
graveled up there
a
and
bad
such.
rap, for sure. All right, so NBA.
Yeah.
Who's the surprise team of the playoffs for you?
I would say the surprise. You know, I'm not really surprised with the Warriors. I mean, they took care of business in that playing round, and they went through. I would say the surprise right now is, you know, maybe the Pacers.
I'm just circling the Pacers because I mean to knock off the Bucks and now to take a one. I mean it's early and the Cavs can certainly come back, but now they have all these injury concerns. Darius Garland out. Now they're saying Evan Mobley may be out. So, I mean Donovan Mitchell can't do it all himself. And they have Jared Allen too. He's a throwback kind of player, dunks and rebounds. But yeah, I mean, Halliburton, he's crafty but you got to get his dad under control.
Yes.
Hopefully his dad wasn't there at the Cavs game. Is he banned by the league or just by that one stadium?
I think that maybe
Milwaukee.
one arena there, but it's going to be compelling, you know, to kind of see how the other, you know, the 4 series go. You know, the Knicks and the Celtics, like we said, you know, how the Celtics, you know, have a 20-point lead and you just squander that away. And the Knicks, you know, the way that they were playing the Pistons.
They were dead in the water, yeah.
Yeah. You know, the Pistons, you know, were right with the Knicks numerous times and just have a lead with, you know, they're up 7 with 2 minutes left in the game and
Yeah.
lose the game.
That Villanova connection for the Knicks is, man, I mean,
Superb.
Hart, he's really undersung player, but he's a really glue guy, blue-collar guy. Brett already talked about him. And then the Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges there.
Bridges, I mean, he took over down the stretch against the Celtics. He gets kind of low billing on the one commercial they have with Dante.
Some buys there, yeah.
Yeah. So, the Villanova connection. So, pretty cool stuff. So, the Warriors play tonight?
Yep, they will have game 1, and The other games tonight will be Cavs and Pacers. They'll be playing game 2. And then tomorrow will be Thunder Nuggets, Knicks, and Celtics tomorrow. So, I mean, kind of looking at that there, do you see an upset in any of these series, or are you going to go with...
Remind me who the Warriors have.
The Warriors got the Timberwolves, and that's a 6-7 matchup. So
Yeah,
T-Wolves got
I know they have Jimmy Butler, and he's made them all better. But the T-Wolves, they're, they got Rudy Gobert. I just think they're the favorites in that series. So we'll find out. Game 1 tonight.
Yes. You're seeing the way that Rudy plays, and then you got, the Warriors. I think that's going to be very compelling to kind of see how that, shapes up there.
Chess match, yeah.
I would go with the Minnesota in 6. I think that not a gentleman's sweep, not a 7 there. I think it's 6. I think a 4-2 win in that series. The Thunder Nuggets is very intriguing as well. I mean, just the way that the Thunder have just eased right through with the Grizz. The Nuggets are, when the Joker's playing up to his caliber and guetting those points and those rebounds. It's tough to stop sometimes.
Is there their new coach? I guess they did lose a couple games in that previous series.
Yeah,
he was undefeated for, I guess, the rest of the regular season. But
yeah, I mean the Nuggets they lost 3 because they went the 7.
Game 7, yeah, right.
The Clippers
the
there.
Clips, yeah.
But that's a very interesting series. I still like the Thunder.
Oh, it's great theater. Can Draymond Green, can he maintain his cool? Will Steph Curry go off, or will he show his age? I mean, the thing with a 7-game series, if you find a flaw on a team, you're going to exploit it. The Lakers, they don't have a rim protector, and I think that Minnesota figured that out and just took it to them.
Yep. And the other thing is with Draymond Green, with the technicals,
And you were going to talk Thunder, so I
Oh,
apologize.
no, you're good. I was just going to say one last point there I forgot to make with the Warriors and the T-Wolves is, how Rudy Gobert is very physical. That could get under the skin with Draymond Green. And then if he gets those technicals, he could get suspended for a game if he gets too many. So that would definitely play a role. And, going back to the Thunder and the Nuggets, I like the style of the Thunder, how they've been playing all season there. I like them in probably 6. I can see the Nuggets win one more game at home. But when it's in the home court in OKC, I like their chances. But, if they lose this game again, then it goes straight back to Denver. Then they have the home court there. Spinning forward to the east side there, I can see the New York and Boston series going 7. It's a very interesting matchup there. I don't see Boston having another game where they miss 45 threes.
Is Porzingis, did he play?
I can check his stats there.
I know he was kind of banged up that last game or two.
Let's see here. He played his, just, a typical night there for Porzingis there. So
they got Al Horford in reserve, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see the Knicks in 4, the Knicks in 5. If anything, they've got to go the distance to beat the Celtics, but you say...
I can see 7.
Celtics in 7?
I'll go Celtics in 7, and then the Cavs and the Pacers, I'll go Cavs in 6 there.
Wow, so they're going to right the ship. Well, maybe Garland's going to come back. Was that tonight?
That will be, that's tonight. That's the 7
the first
o'clock game. And
so
then,
he would give him a big lift if he can play. There's a drop-off, I think, at their backup point guard. So anyway, the NBA, exciting time. The field has been pared in half, and still a lot going on. 8 teams left.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so where do you want to go from here? You talked golf, we
yeah, we
talked
can go into the-
horse racing.
We can do the horse racing and then segue into the baseball. So the horse race, it was a sloppy track there for the Kentucky Derby, the 151st
May I
running.
see the list of the entries?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. So, yeah, I mean, it was a muddy track.
Mm-hmm. We did not pick the winner.
Sovereignty was the winner.
Yep. Journalism came
Number
second.
18 horse.
I think number.
Or maybe
Yes.
it moved up because somebody scratched.
Yeah, I think he was 18.
Rodriguez scratched. That was the one you said that I picked Citizen Bull to win it, and that didn't happen.
He was up front for a little bit there, and then he got passed by the others.
And
but,
you had Publisher who scratched?
no,
No, that was just your pick. Okay.
Yeah, the ones that got scratched was Rodriguez and I think it was number 10.
How'd Sandman do?
Sandman did not do well. Yeah, he was in the middle of the pack there, so it was not a.
I love these names though. It's
It
cool.
wasn't
That's
a
a cool
Metallica
thing.
night.
Should make it a tradition to get the list of the horses in the Kentucky Derby.
Well, maybe we can do the Preakness, in 2 weeks.
Maybe we
there.
can.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
It'd be a less field, so I think we have a better chance
Yeah.
instead of a 20 horse field there. But
We're not gambling. There's no money
this is
at
just
stake.
for the
bragging
fun,
rights. That's
the
right.
fun of fun,
Yeah.
and such there. So
I like fun. Who
you're just
doesn't?
reading the horses' names there sometimes. So
Oh, that's fun.
absolutely, I mean,
Flying Mohawk.
I thought
Is that
about
a horse or a haircut?
that. Is the owner of that horse is from Jason Worth.
Ah,
Yeah.
great filly, part of the 2008 championship team.
Got
I'm
the
pretty
long
sure.
hair and the beard.
Yeah,
it looks
yeah,
like
like
ZZ Top there. So
Yeah, like Brandon Marsh. Wets his hair between innings.
I heard about that there. Yeah.
But he had a really tough start. He got hurt, and then he was down playing for the Iron Pigs. So he's back. We'll see how he does now. Phillies lost a tough one on Sunday. They were down 7-1. Came back and tied the game with 2 outs, nobody on, in the bottom of the 9th, and they couldn't win it. And then in the 10th, their bullpen imploded. They gave up 3, only scored 1 in the bottom half, lost 11-9. Tough stuff.
Kind of segueing right into the baseball there. I mean, the NL East, we said about this last week, even the Mets having lost 4 of 6, kind of not a tailspin, but every team goes through that, just the journeys
they're
of
not winning
baseball
7
there.
in a row like they had been, so they came down to earth a tad.
They're 23-13, and they won last night. The Phillies, 19-15, 3 games back there for the Mets there. But like I said before,
It's a long race.
I look at this as a 3-horse battle. The Braves are 16-18, and I always say you're not really a playoff picture or in that caliber until you're at 500. Even though you've played, we're almost at that.
Yeah, has Strider come back yet?
Yeah, he pitched a couple weeks ago, and then he went back on the IL and all that there.
Right.
So
How about Acuna? He's not back yet.
not yet, but he's nearing a return.
His brother's doing well for the Mets, so.
You have to deal with both Acuñas in that division there.
Yeah, well, you figure the Braves wouldn't be atrocious for too long, so they're within 2 games of 500.
Yeah, so they are a half game better than the Nats, and the Nats are right now up 10-8, with the Guardians. So you look at that division, and the Marlins are just kind of falling off the wayside there, and they're 13-21. You kind of look at that as probably trading their pieces, like they have done numerous times over the last couple of seasons there. I don't see anything changing. The Central, we kind of touch on it a little bit there with the Cubs. They're 22-14, and I think not a lot of people have been saying about Kyle Tucker. You look at his numbers and compare that with Tatis or Ohtani or Freeman for that matter. He's right up there, and having
Got a club.
That bat rate, and a cleanup type of hitter, bringing those runs in, You know, that's why they're, you know, plus 69 on the
I
run
like
differential.
their Crow Armstrong, center fielder.
CA there,
He's exciting to watch. So I know, and now they got Craig Counsell. I think he kind of underperformed last year as a manager, but he's making up for it so far this season.
And I think if they keep this pace going, I think they'll, you know, easily make the playoffs and, you know, should
They didn't
win
make
the
the
Central.
playoffs last year, did they? They were in it right till the end.
Right to the wire there,
Yeah, and AL Central, the Tigers were hot for a while. Have they cooled off?
No, looking at that, you know, if you want to say a 7-3 in their last 10 games is a cool off.
I think a lot of teams would take that.
Yes.
That's going to win you a lot of pennants almost every year.
Right now, the Tigers have the best record in the American League. You know, they're 22-13, and I would say, you know, in a winnable division. You know, you look at the Guardians, they're 20-14. The Royals, you know, they had their
20-14, the Guardians?
Yeah, the Guardians
They
are
always seem to be under the radar.
sleepy team there, you know.
Yeah, but really, I mean, it's kind of like the Cleveland way, or kind of remember how the Tampa Bay team used to be, the same way, where you don't have a lot of superstars, but really
get the
good
job done.
fundamentals. Yeah.
KC, they are on a 3-game winning streak after losing the first game with the O's on Friday. They have won, you know, 3 in a row. The Twins, you know, they're 15-20. So you kind of look at that. You have 4 teams. You know, the Twins are 7 games back from, you know, from the Tigers. But I look at this as the Tigers winning in that division. They have the pieces. I like their rotation. You know, when you have a Bulldog ace.
Yeah.
With Tyreek or you know, Schoolboy, you know, there that can give you.
Flaherty's back now, a part of the rotation. I don't know. I can't name a lot of Tigers, but well, yeah. So still early, still wide open. How about the NL West? We were talking about 4 teams really dazzling. Has anyone separated themselves from the pack over there?
No, I see this being a very tight race.
Still a 4-team race. We talked about it last week.
It's starting to be a 3-horse race now.
Throwing out the snakes?
Well, the D-backs right now, they're 6 games back there. They're 18-17, and you know what I typically say: if you're above 500, you have a shot there. But when you have the Dodgers and the Padres kind of rolling off these wins, so you know right now they're 6 games back. You just don't want to be in that double digits games back.
Who's first?
Right now, the Dodgers are 24-11, Padres are 23-11, and the Giants are 22-14. So, you know, in any other division, they'll only be just a few games back there. But you know, you're climbing that, you know, that mountain.
Have the Padres and Dodgers played each other yet?
A couple times there, yeah.
They have? Okay.
So, you know, looking at that there, I'll still go what I said last week. I said, you know, whoever has the worst record against the Rockies won't win the division, and you know probably will be fighting for that, you know, wild card spot there. And
still 3 wild cards this year.
Yeah, you win your division, you know, so you have six teams total.
Yeah, is the seeding different for the playoffs?
The seedings are the top 2 division winners get the bye, and then your the last division will play the wild card.
3 wild card, the low wild card,
and then it's a wild card series.
3, yeah.
But I would say the team that has impressed me the most in this, you know, 35 plus games into the season, I'm going to say the Athletics. The Athletics have really, the expectations hasn't really been
we talked
really
about
high.
them, and how's Rooker doing?
You know, he's right up there. I wouldn't be surprised if he's an all-star. And that was I'm pretty sure we put this on the paper. I had them making the playoffs. That was
cool. Wait, how far out are they now?
Right now, they're only a game back from the Mariners for the division.
What are the records?
So Seattle's 20-14.
Okay.
Athletics are 20-16.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A little
playing their tiny little park, but we talked about that before. And the Phillies play Tampa Bay in
George Steinbrenner
Field. Yeah, so that'll be fun to watch tonight.
And then Houston is 17-17. Texas is 17-18, and the Angels are 13-20. But I'm still going to go with my bold prediction is the Athletics will still make the playoffs.
Wow.
Not to win the division. I think that'll be really a hot take, bold prediction there. But I like their young outfield, infield. If they get a picture at the deadline, that might push. But I won't be shocked if they go 81-81. This is a team that's on the rise. They kind of remind me of like the Orioles from like 2 years ago with their the prospects and all that there. And when the Orioles made the playoffs 2 years ago, they were like, well, or when they just barely missed the playoffs, it's like, man, they're a year ahead of schedule. I kind of look at the Athletics in that bubble. So that's where I kind of look at that as a surprise. Who's your surprise team so far?
My surprise team? I mean, the Mets really, as much money as they spent, that's not really a super surprise. And the Padres, they're just putting it all together. I think we talked about this before. How about the Giants? Because, you have a lot of names that sound semi-mediocre. Yaz is no Yaz.
Yep, a Verlander that's 40 years plus. Yeah, coming in.
What does he need for 300? Like 30-some wins?
30-some there. I'll check that in a second there. But
I think he's got over 260, which nobody probably will ever reach again. So he's like a dinosaur out there.
Yeah, I think, that's a good, I like that with the Giants, kind of, the expectations weren't like off the roof there, but,
you kind of think Cincinnati, but they really haven't really gone on a big run yet. Yeah. So,
they'll win 3 and then lose 4, or they win 6 and then they, it's just up and down. Verlander, right at this current time, has 262 wins. Okay. So I would say probably 2 more seasons, 3, 2, 2.5, something like that.
He
there.
could get close.
If he wants to,
if he's pitching every 5th day, if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, he is.
What are his stats for this year?
So this year his stats are
better than Charlie Morton.
Yes, better than Charlie there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to rub it in.
It's all good. So right now, Justin Verlander's 0-2 with an ERA of 4.38, 7 games pitched, 37 innings. So he did not increase his wins. He increased his losses. So I think he's going to come up short. With his age of being 42 and you almost need at least 12 wins in 4 years.
There's a guy named Early Wynn. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he worked so hard to get his 300th win. He kept coming back year after year, and he finally got it. But it can be an ordeal. So, well, that's good stuff.
Well, I think we got a caller here.
Oh, we do. Okay, let's welcome to Sports Chat. Hello. Oh, jeez.
Wow. Whoa.
Was that fireworks? Hello, Carl.
Woo. Coming in hot.
Hey, good to hear your voice. We were talking about you. Yeah. We're going to have a anniversary celebration on June 3rd. We were talking about how you had your old ACT team, Pierre Fontaine, John Tannen, etc. So, what do you think? The late great, Jim Dooley. He was Amish Weasel. Yes, he was. So how are you? I didn't mean. Go ahead.
This is my favorite commercial of all time. Rick's Towing.
They'll.
Emergency service. Got car trouble. Call Rick's Towing. They'll get you going.
I wrote it. I taped it.
Director.
I directed it, and I did the audio. So when your car breaks down and you're all alone, Who you gonna call? Rick's Towing. Go ahead, Carl. I'm sorry.
So I've been with you pretty much since day one.
Yeah.
Do I get some kind of award?
Yeah. Well, you want to come on the show June 3rd and reminisce?
How many years do we go back, Jeff? It's got to be 87.
Well, that's what we're thinking. Yeah.
Not 87 years, but yeah.
1987. 38 years. Yeah. Well, that's a long time. We gotta. Maybe it'll be an annual thing. We'll
June
look
3rd,
back
yeah.
at where we've come and where we're going, and
And with technology, the games that were taped back then,
Oh, yeah.
it's like day and night now.
the 72-hour delay, the perfect prelude for Al, Frank, and Dan.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know who that?
Yeah, I know.
Al Michaels, Frank Gifford,
Yeah.
Dan Deirdre.
Give Robert a word too. He's been a
Oh yes, very much so. And what is he?
He's at the Outlaws, so he said this last week. He will not be calling in because he is at the
Special
Outlaws. so-
edition of World of Outlaws.
The Outlaws run the Lincoln tonight, and then they're at the Grove Friday and Saturday night.
Okay.
But Lincoln, I don't know. Lincoln's a small track, but
So what do you think? What do you?
the draft. Did you guys like the draft at all? I didn't think they really had a lot of stellar draft. And boy, wasn't that a prank that the Atlanta Falcons coach's son really did a number?
Yeah, that was really ridiculous. I mean, the kid's what, 21 or
Yeah,
something like that.
I wouldn't, call him a kid. I mean, he's 21.
I'm sorry.
He's an adult. He shouldn't be doing what he did.
No, no.
Jeopardizing.
Why did he think that was funny? I guess just because Shedeur Sanders is going to be successful, and he wanted to jerk him around a little bit.
I think he wanted to put the spotlight on himself. I think he was trying to get clicks
A cry
and
for
all
help.
that there, and like, I'm going to do something funny. I'm going to do a prank, and then all that there. So, not only when he did that, he's jeopardizing his integrity. He's jeopardizing his coach.
Well, didn't the coach get fined $100,000?
$100,000.
Like he's
and
supposed to control his kid
$500,000 for the Falcons itself. There was something like that.
because he
there.
he used his dad's phone or something, or
Probably should have said to his son, right? Now look, son, I would have bought you a $100,000 car. Now I got to pay it all back.
So
yeah.
it
Well,
was
let's get them on the hot seat. What are their names?
Yeah, I'll get that in a second.
Well,
there, so.
we'll call it the. No, we don't want to give them the airtime. Falcons and the. Hey, Shedeur Sanders apparently took it well. Oh, that's a good one, guys.
Yeah,
you
he
know.
took the high road with that there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Hey, you guys, I think what the red flag was when he didn't have a callback number, so to speak.
That's a clue. Yeah.
yeah.
I had a couple scam calls today.
Talking to you guys last week, I'm so glad, and I knew that how Tyler Shutt from Louisville was, because I watched him every game on the ACC network. I knew he was a gunslinger, and Jeff Brom, the coach, was a quarterback himself at Louisville. And all the Louisville people are glad that we learned him away from Purdue. And ever since we learned him away from Purdue has done nothing, and they're desperate to find a good coach. Because he was a good coach at Purdue, Corey. He won the first year he was coaching at Purdue, they won that side of the championship, and the same thing when he came back from Louisville, he won the championship, but unfortunately they lost against Florida State last year.
Yeah.
The ACC title, but he's a really good coach. I mean, at Louisville, I think his record's like 19-7 or something.
Yeah.
Pretty good for 2 years.
Yeah, when he was with Purdue, I think he was at the cap of what he was going to do. Just with all the competition that he was going up against, I didn't see him. This is before divisions were going in the Big Ten. There, I just didn't see him climbing that mountain there to win the Big Ten. So where he's at in the ACC there with Louisville, I like his chances.
He's 26, right? Is that the kid who's 26?
I was talking about Brom.
Oh, Brom. Okay, as a coach.
He was a quarterback there years ago, and he
Right.
coached
Yep.
Purdue, but Louisville lured him back to it And he's done extremely well. I think after 2 years, he's 19-7.
Yeah, it's I like the trajectory with Braum in Louisville. Whether you get the pieces there, and it's just more like a year by year basis now in college football.
Now, I was looking in the college books that was out, and ACC Network had they had this upcoming season the 18 teams in the ACC and how they feared that they were going to be ranked, and the 3 top teams bound for the ACC championship was Miami, Clemson, and Louisville.
Yeah,
Then they got Miller Moss from USC, which his numbers were great. Obviously he had some issues there towards the end of the season, but he's still a gunslinger, and I'm sure that they're going to groom him all summer. And we got 2 stud running backs coming back. He was the rookie of the ACC freshman of the year as far as offense in the ACC. Our running back, and Louisville is going to be a good team, and they were saying that they're even deeper this upcoming season than they were last year. And they also had a great linebacker that was drafted in the NFL. The Chiefs got him, Ashton Gillette. And the Redskins picked up Ja'Cory Brooks, also the wide receiver from Louisville who had transferred from Alabama a year ago. He was Louisville's top receiver, okay, Corey, and I could not understand why he was not drafted. He was Tyler Shuck's #1 receiver, great division, great hands. Ja'Cory Brooks, nobody picked him up. I couldn't understand. And then finally, Washington picked him up in the, what do you call that, in the, when you're not drafted.
Free agent.
Undrafted there, or unrestricted, signing, there, yeah.
Picked him up, and they like what they see in him. Now, why didn't somebody pick up Louisville's top receiver this past season, Corey?
I can't speak with the 32 teams there, but I mean, what I would say is probably what they were looking at, whether they were, looking at his skill set, whether that fit their team. Yeah, I was surprised. I thought he would be like a late, 3rd round, but, when you don't get drafted, then you can kind of pick where you want to go when you're getting the phone calls there. So,
That's what my friend was saying.
I think it could work out with the Commanders there. I know they have some pieces as well, so see what happens there. But I can see him definitely making the roster, but it's just going to be a battle there.
There were some games that Ja'Cory Brooks made some fantastic catches. It was unbelievable. Were games where he was almost tiptoed outside, and he got back and he put his hands back behind his back, and he caught one game. He caught a ball like that. It was just unbelievable. It was definitely primetime video. And I just couldn't believe that nobody drafted him.
Maybe he's got issues in the locker room. Who knows?
Yeah.
He did not cause any trouble at all. He was.
I don't know.
Jeff, he was Louisville's top receiver. Tyler Shuck's
Yeah.
favorite target, and Tyler Shuck got 2nd round, 8th pick overall to the Saints.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting. I'm not, arguing with you with that point there. I just, sometimes it's just the team's needs and all that there, and he just kind of fell. Sometimes it's just a sleeper.
Corey, I personally think what Louisville's done with these transfer portal quarterbacks, like the other year they had Jake the Snake's son, Jack Plummer, who was great, but not as good as Tyler Shuck. And now, like I told you, and I'm going to predict this, I told my friends this, don't be surprised if next year on the draft that Miller Moss from USC, Louisville's quarterback, is a 1st rounder.
I'm writing it down.
I think there's going to be, this year we had 2 quarterbacks in the 1st round. I think next year is going to be a better quarterback draft than this year's draft. So that is a possibility. You got LSU's quarterback there. You got Arch Manning that's going to be in the draft. You got Penn State's quarterback there.
And don't say the ex-Georgia Bulldog, now Miami Hurricane. I don't think he's with
No. I think there's about 4 quarterbacks there that I just named there, and and then yeah, I know, yeah, with Mr. Beck there. So I think there's probably 4 quarterbacks there if you're looking at probably Texas, LSU, Louisville, and probably Penn State there. It's just naming 4 quarterbacks right off the top of my head.
Hey, Jeff, I'm a Penn State fan.
I know.
Okay.
You were.
In my mind, I've always been a Penn State fan, but in my heart, family Louisville.
Yeah.
And
There's enough room in your heart for both teams.
now, what do you think about this, Corey? I personally think that Louisville's quarterback, Tyler Shuck, played a lot better than Drew Allen.
Well, we could talk about that maybe next week because we're out of time, Carl. So thank you so much for calling. I mean, what do you think?
I think I look at it. I'll probably go with.
I don't know anything about Louisville's quarterback, to tell you the truth.
I might lean towards Aller, but it's a good debate there. I have to kind of crunch at the numbers there, but it's something kind of.
Before I get off here, Corey, do you think that Tyler Shuck would have done good this past season at helm for the Nittany Lions?
It's kind of debatable there, but I would probably go with Aller.
All right, Carl, good stuff. I mean, we really just touched the draft. We didn't talk Eagles at all. So hopefully you'll be around next week, Carl. You can give us a call. Stay tuned for trivia in just a few minutes. Parting thoughts, Corey?
Not much, yeah.
Hey, Carl, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate you.
I got nothing, just trivia in 12 minutes.
You get sachet on over there and get ready.
Yeah.
The greatest minds of the universe
We
prepare to do battle.
Amy ready.
Amy Welsh is in the house. Stay tuned. Until then, good night, everybody. Mahalo. A special thanks to Sean. Sean, I'll get you trivia.